Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Okay, it's a chilly Saturday morning, the end of October. I think tomorrow is Halloween. And I had this job come in, I don't know, it must have been 2 months ago. And the guy kept stalling out and stalling out and stalling out. He had to do other things first. And finally the job comes due, and he calls me up and he says, okay, I'm ready. And so I went over there and we looked at what he wanted to do. And I'm going to bring a picture in here and kind of point out what he wants. If you can see that, this is his house. And we're going to build a steel structure that goes all the way through the house, that looks like it goes all the way through the house, with 4-inch pipe, which is what you see down there. Let's see if we can get down there a little bit better. Yep. And then 2-inch square this way. Now, the key is that he wants to make it look like an arrowhead, if you can see that, and then an arrow tail, and the same on this side. Now for right now all we're doing is this side, but that's what we're doing. And so he gave me a deposit, and I went and got the metal, and I of course ordered this 4-inch pipe, and the damn thing weighs more than Jason and I can handle. We literally rolled it off of the truck right here. Now, what I have to do, and what I'm going to video, because once we get on the job site, I can't really video the customer standing there, and if I stall out to adjust the camera and stuff like that, you know, it's just not gonna, you know, he's not gonna feel like he's getting his money's worth. So what I'm gonna do now is cut this pipe up so that it's handleable. Now you can see I've got tape on this first 18 inches, and that is going to be the point of the arrowhead, if you can see that. Let's bring it in a little closer. How's that? Yeah. So what we're going to have to do is section this in maybe 6 or 8 sections, and then squeeze it in until we get this thing to taper down to a point. Well, it's not going to get to a point because of course there's too much material at the end. So we're going to get it as close to a point as possible, and then come in with some 1-inch stock and weld it on, then put it on the lathe, and possibly use my tracer attachment and get just a little bit of a curve to it, and come out to the point. Now he wants 2 of these. Well, actually right now he just wants 1, but I'm certain that he's going to do this other one, so I'm just going to do 2 while I'm here. And so we're going to cut 2 18-inch pieces, and then this piece here from the ground up. Oh, by the way, all of this doesn't attach to the building, so the county can't inspect it. So we've cut holes in this stucco wall here, this little pony wall, and all of this metal is going to go down to the bottom. And here, we'll go to the second page here, and you can see that the metal goes all the way to the earth. And then we came into the center of that little pony wall and poured concrete and put steel plates down, so that when we put this thing in, we install this thing, we can weld it to the plates. Now we're going to go to the project with metal kind of cut up, and build the thing in place, because there's no way you could build this out of where it's going to land, because it's just too complicated and there's too many places where it can go wrong. Now the end of this has a screen door, and that all has to be a part of it too. But for right now, we're just going to do the arrow. Well, for right now, we're just going to cut up this pipe so I can handle it. So stick with me, we're going to have some fun. All right, well, there's our first piece. I feel like those guys from India on YouTube that, you know, sit out in a crappy old lot cutting steel all day long with the torch. But we're getting there. So there's 18. We need to cut a second one of these right about there. And since I can't move this piece of steel very much, we're going to just rotate the camera around. How's that? Now, once we get this cut, then I'll come in and recut it with the chop saw and get it cleaned up. And 18 inches is kind of a random number. It's just big enough to give us that taper. Okay, from there I believe we have 96 inches, which is 8 feet to the center of that. We're going to give it 8 foot 4 inches. We've got an extra 5 feet on the length of this, so that'll be no problem. 8 foot 4 inches coming up. Okay, 8 foot 4 inches, and we'll have this thing in half, and then it'll be fairly easy to handle. Okay, well, we've got some pretty rough edges here, as you can see, but we're going to whip out the chop saw, and I just love this saw. The Evolution guys sent it to me to test out, and man, this is the best saw I have ever used for metal. It runs at the right speed. The blade lasts forever. So far we've ran, oh, I don't know, 3 major jobs on this saw. You know, like tons of metal cutting out, or not cutting out, but cutting steel. And the blade is still plugging along just like it should be. Okay, that's not gonna work. Oh, right. This comes up. That cool? I mean, they pretty much thought of everything, as far as I can tell. Okay, we want a 90-degree cut here, and I think I want to hang on to it twice. There we go. Let's see what that cut's going to look like. We could move it back just a little bit. Okay, headphones, because this is one noisy ass machine. Of course, they all are. Hey, let me take a minute here and pose a question, especially if you're in the manufacturing world and if you own a machine shop. How's it going? I mean, how's your business doing? It seems like everybody's saying the economy is better. I'm just wondering how it's going for you. Put a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Okay, well now when Jason comes back, he and I will bring those longer pieces up and do the same thing. But for right now, we've got these arrows to make. And let's go over to the bench and see how that's as you can tell, one is just slightly larger than the other, or longer. And in machinist terms, that's a big no-no. But this part of the arrow and this part of the arrow are going to be about 30 feet away from each other, so I don't think it's going to matter that much. So now what we need to do is we need to divide this circumference into, I would say, 8 pieces. And then, well, let's just do it and not talk about it. All right, that gives us something to work from. Now, since we know this is pretty square, we can come in with a square. Let's go ahead and do it that way. And we want to take it about an inch. Well, leave an inch at the bottom. So, the better thing might be to divide this in half. Start with that. And there will be our line. I don't know, can you see the bottom? No, you can't. Okay, let's just get the bottom in here. Gonna back up a little bit. There we go. Okay, I got our first line center on these two marks at about 1 inch high. Well, we'll figure out the 1 inch later. Okay, that gives us our 8 segments down there centered on this. So let's flip this upside down. We're going to get 1 inch for each one of these lines. I don't know, is that a line? I can't tell. Yeah. All right, so now what we need to do is go from this corner, or from this point, to this edge. And I think we're going to need something to be able to go around that turn. All right, I think what we're going to do is lay this down at this point. Now, we're going to go from here to here. Something like that. Is that right? We go from here to here. Now, if I only had a third hand, Hey! Okay, this is what we've got. So if you can see it, there's a V right there. And we're going to start with the plasma and we're going to cut and cut that V out. And then eventually, once we get them all cut out, the plan is, whether it works or not, I don't know. The plan is to bring all of these in to a taper. And then, of course, weld them all back up again. And then, once they're welded, put it on the lathe and either just clean it up at a taper or do some kind of, a little bit of a curve to it. But we haven't, we've got a 1/4 inch, so that's a fair amount of material. But that's what we're going to do on another day. Right now, I'm going into town. I'm going to have a little lunch. Man, it's going to be good. Okay, so the problem is cutting a straight line. So I came up with this. It's got a little bit of an arch to it, but it follows the line fairly well. So we're going to give this a test run, and we've got it directly on the line, which means when I cut, I'm going to be cutting inside of the line a bit. Let's give it a try.